pernah habis dunia, sampai ke ujung batasnya, takkan berhenti hingga hatimu membeku. Kembali berputar arah, pulang padaku.
Saat gagasan pendirian Sarinah dicetuskan pada tahun 1962, Bung Karno ingin banyak membuat mercusuar kebangkitan bangsa Indonesia. Sarinah adalah bentuk perwujudan dari kebangkitan ekonomi kerakyatan menuju modernisasi dan internasionalisme. Dari masa ke masa, Sarinah menjadi saksi dari perkembangan Indonesia. Sarinah melihat bagaimana masyarakat bertumbuh dan beradaptasi melalui segala tantangan yang hadir. Sarinah terus menjadi sentra aktivitas bagi masyarakat untuk memasarkan inovasi dan produk dalam negeri di jantung ibu kota. Transformasi Sarinah adalah sebuah momen yang dinanti-nantikan masyarakat Indonesia. Sebuah pusat perbelanjaan yang didesain untuk memberikan ruang bagi produk dalam negeri yang telah dikurasi. Pemugaran gedungnya tetap menjaga kelestarian aspek cagar budayanya, namun interior, fasilitas, dan pengalaman berbelanja akan disesuaikan dengan perilaku konsumen masa kini dan masa depan. Sarinah diharapkan menjadi destinasi wajib kunjung bagi wisatawan dalam dan luar negeri. Ruang rumah Sarinah terbagi menjadi 8 buah segmen lantai. Masing-masing ruang tersebut kami beri nama antara lain Pasar Nusantara, Pusaka, Untayan, Kreasi, Hayat, House of Sarinah, Cakrawala, dan Tanah Nusa. Melalui konsep community mall, Sarinah memberikan ruang publik yang memiliki elemen historical, urban linkages, urban forest, serta urban living. Kami ingin mengajak Anda untuk menjadi bagian dari semangat baru Sarinah. Semangat yang diwariskan oleh para pendiri bangsa untuk bisa menjadikan Indonesia menjadi salah satu sentral ekonomi dunia. Bersama, mari kita tunjukkan kekayaan karya Nusantara kepada dunia. Sarinah, panggung karya Indonesia.
Hi, welcome to Sarinah Jakarta Content Week 2021, sponsored by Brimo.
Hello, it's my pleasure to welcome you to Jakarta Content Week 2021. Together Again. This event is organized by Yayasan 17.000 Pulau Imaji and Frankfurter Buchmesse. I hope you're staying safe and healthy. Today, I'd like to share with you an exceptional discussion, Little People at the Museum, with our guests Michiko Matsukata, Riyama Maslansi Hombing, and Minjani. This session is a part of ICON, a program which includes cosplay competitors and also discussion on the subjects of animations, comics, illustrations, and design. In addition, this session is curated by Tachita, celebrating children's book and stories as the motors of its activities. Tachita aims to create and encourage the growth of a healthy, productive, and positive Indonesian children's book ecosystem. Several activities have been held, including the 2019 and 2021 Children's Story Party. In Bahasa Indonesia, we call it Pesta Cerita Anak, Tachita, exhibition, and various discussion and classes related to children's book. I am Imania Rizky Warida. I am a member of Tachita community and part of Children Visual Media Laboratory KIBA, Institut Teknologi Bandung, will be chairing the session as the moderator. Museum and galleries are generally targeted regardless of the visitor's age. However, in Indonesia, there are still few child-friendly museum and galleries in displaying their collection or involving children in their programs. In this talk session, we invited Chihiro Art Museum Japan and Museum Macan, modern and contemporary art in Nusantara, to share about their family-friendly museum and also the programs aimed specifically for children. But in the first session, I will invite Riyama Maslan to join with us to present her observation about inspiring child-friendly museum around the world. Let me introduce her first. Riyama Maslansi Hombing is a lecturer in Visual Communication Design Department, Art and Design Faculty, Institut Teknologi Bandung. In 2009, she initiated Children's Picture Book Illustration and Design course, which was the first academic subject about children's picture book illustration in Indonesia. In 2014, she completed her doctoral study in ITV. Her research title was The Shift of Mother Figure Visualization in Indonesian Children's Book Illustration of 1973 to 2013. Some of her researchers in Kiba Lab are related to children's book, such as folklore adaptation, history of children's book illustration, gender in children's book, and children's activities in the museum. Currently, she is actively participating in the children's book communities such as KPBA, Kelir, SCBWI Indonesia, and Tachita. A warm welcome to you, Bu Riyama. Hi, good morning.
Hi. Hi, Iman.
You good today?
Good. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. I would first kindly ask Bu Riyama to present about the experience and observation visiting child-friendly museum around the world. Bu Riyama, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Iman. Picasso has created many masterpieces. Picasso went through many creative phases in his career. These phases have been labeled as periods and show the different styles and mediums in his life. From 1906 to 1909, Picasso has heavily inspired by African art. After he was exposed to traditional African masks and other objects coming from Africa to French Museum in Paris. Hello, I'm Riyama Maslansi Hombing, and I'm so glad to be with you to talk about Museum for Children. I'm going to speak to you today about, first, why is museum important for children? What are the activities for children in the museum? And visiting Children's Book Museum. All of these materials I'm going to show are the result of my observation when I visited several museums over the last 4 years. Over the last 3 decades, many museums have actively sought to embrace diverse audiences, focusing in inclusivity, learning, and community. And young children have emerged as a key audience. There are many of recent research talk about the importance of learning and brain development in early childhood. According to Christine Savage, there are 6 benefits of bringing children to the museum. If you bring your children to museum, they will see something new that will spark their curiosity. They will see that the world is full of fascinating things to learn, and this new experience will motivate them to study harder. Children rely on the internet too much now, and that's a huge problem. There are a number of children today that are lack of skills to distinguish fact from fiction and identify credible websites amongst the sea of non-credible ones. They have no skills necessary to distinguish credible websites from non-credible ones. So I will show you in 2019, Tachita held an illustration exhibition event at the Sumarja Gallery as part of series of events. During the tour, there is an explanation about the works, a kind of gallery for art students. At the time, there was a mother who brought her children to listen. You can see in the picture that she's on the right corner, and his son being carried by a mother. Soon the boy came down and listened as he took a closer look at the picture. In this case, many benefits mentioned earlier have been answered. And when it comes to imagination development, continuous practice is needed. As a parent, it's important to regularly encourage children to dream, imagine, and create. Most museums offer engaging activities for kids and families. Kiba ITB was involved in creating an experience in Tachita 2019 for children visitors. With gallery tour, library, and sitting spots, we invited schools and parents to visit and register for the children program in children program. In 2021, due to the pandemic, the exhibition was held online, but we've included the gallery tour pop-up in the website. You can see in our website for parents and children to interact. From 2017 to 2020, I visited several museums, both public and museum for children. Most of the museums that has been visited were not for children only. However, this museum provide activities for children inside. I will tell you briefly on specialized museum for children in America, Netherlands, Korea, and Japan. I want to start by telling you about one memorable visit I did to the Kinderbuchen Museum. We started at the dining room table with hot tea, butter cookies, and cake. I was visiting Tai Chong King in 2018. Tai Chong King is a children's book illustrator born in Purworejo, Indonesia. He won many awards and he illustrated more than 400 books. And he kindly gave me 5 of his own books. And before leaving, he gave me the address of Kinderbuchen Museum in Den Haag. So I went there, I visited the museum, and the museum is the same building with the Royal Library, and also the Museum of Literature. This museum is well managed and designed, making it really interesting for children to visit. When I went to the museum for the second time, surprisingly, Tai Chong King held the main exhibition for his 15-year works as children book illustrator. I could imagine if he is like Picasso, Tai Chong King with 400 books which he has illustrated throughout his life. There was so much fun. We all enjoyed all his exhibition. When visiting museums, there are similarities in their program. Some activities is to keep the children engaged and entertained. Museum of City of New York is not specifically for children, but guided tour is always provided. Here, children can understand the other religion. There's always a nice shop that provides special books on artists, arts, museum for children. And also, kids can stop whether it's to sit down or to engage in activity in the museum. They also have appropriate visual branding. The museum have appropriate visual branding for the target audience. They use cute animals. And also the museum provide children libraries. Accompanied by adults, they are welcome to visit the library to read. I like the library at Chihiro Museum. The atmosphere is calm and the library are next to the park at the garden. And there are always flower arrangement from the museum's garden. It's found everywhere. And also the museum equipped with audiovisual and the workshop. So the children can learn and make interactive and multisensory in the museum. As a closing, I would like to quote Maira Kalman, said that a visit to a museum is a search for beauty, truth, and meaning in our lives. So let us involve children and visit museums so they can explore the beauty of our world. Thank you.
From Buryama presentation, we now know that there are many things children can do in the museum, not only observing the collection, but also they can have some fun from the programs or the branding of the museum itself. Thank you so much, Buryama Maslam Sihombing, for the warm presentation. So now I'm delighted to welcome our second speaker, who is Ninjani from Museum Macan, Modern and Contemporary Art in Nusantara. Hello, good morning. Mbak Nindi, hello.
Hi, Man.
Okay.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you. And first, in the first time, I will introduce Ninjani first to the audience. Ninjani is an Indonesian curator, writer, and educator with an interest in interdisciplinary approach to art and culture education. She obtained an MA in Southeast Asian Studies from Leiden University and a BA in Media and Communication from Goldsmiths University of London. Since 2017, she is part of Art Collabs, a research-based curatorial initiative focusing on contemporary and new media arts. And in 2021, Nin joined Museum Macan as the curator of education and public program. Before Ninjani do her presentation, we will watch a short video first about children's activity and program in Museum Macan.
with us to create a variety of educational programs. One of the things that we're actually doing is partnering with curators, artists, researchers to create programs and provide teachers and schools with a resource to allow their students to engage with art beyond than just their classroom walls, but with society as a whole.
Ruang seni anak atau Children Art Space perannya sangat besar di program edukasi Museum Macan, karena disinilah kami dari Museum Macan bisa menampilkan instalasi di mana pengunjung anak-anak itu dapat melakukan hands-on activity dan berinteraksi langsung dengan objek-objek yang ada di dalamnya. Nah, karena memang dibuat dan dikomisi langsung untuk anak-anak, maka kami juga menyiapkan aktivitas-aktivitas di dalamnya, di mana anak-anak tidak hanya dapat melihat atau mengintip instalasi, tapi juga bisa melakukan berbagai aktivitas yang kemudian mengembangkan motorik halus dan kreativitas anak-anak.
Sebelumnya kami sudah pernah berkunjung ke Museum Macan. Pengalaman anak-anak sangat luar biasa dan mereka menikmati semua karya-karya yang disajikan di dalam Museum Macan ini. Kami sangat berharap ya, masih banyak peserta didik sekolah-sekolah yang lain bisa diundang, termasuk sekolah kami juga diundang kembali, karena mereka butuh mengetahui seni lebih jauh lagi dengan banyak berkunjung ke museum.
All right. Thank you. So, hello, good morning, everyone. I hope you are all healthy and in good spirit. It's very great to meet you all virtually. My name is Ninjani, and I am the curator of education and public program at Museum Macan, Indonesia. Today, I will share a little bit about our children's program at the museum with my presentation, A Little Space for Big Imaginations. But first, allow me to give you a brief introduction about Museum Macan. Museum Macan, or the Museum of Modern and Contemporary Art in Nusantara, is a private museum located in West Jakarta. We opened in 2017, and actually this November is our anniversary month. So at the time of this recording, we are in the middle of launching some new projects. So please do stay tuned for more updates. And as an art institution, the museum aims to become a platform for both Indonesian and international artists to present their works to a global audience. And we are also committed to bring art closer to the public because we are the first museum focusing on modern and contemporary art in Indonesia. So we are doing it through a variety of exhibitions and public program catered to different types of audiences. So this is an old picture from a school tour that we did a few years back, so way before I joined the museum. However, when I look at this picture, I can't help but smile because it brings back my own memories when I visited museums as a child. And I think it also captures how influential a museum can be in inspiring the young minds of children. And I believe this is why we do the work at the museum. And if it's even if it's just one visit, it can make a difference. So with that goal in mind, as you have seen from the video that I shared earlier, education is at the core of our practice at Museum Macan. And our approach to education is more interdisciplinary, meaning that we believe art can be a gateway to introduce us to new ideas and issues that we may not be familiar before. Art is important to society because art helps us better understand each other, and art helps us to be more creative and innovative even outside of the arts itself. However, when we look around the world, so not just Indonesia, the resources for art education is declining. So this is a critical time to revive and reestablish the networks and resources for art education. And that is why we care about raising the awareness of art education to young children, because childhood is a formative period where children begin to develop their lifelong interests. And we hope that if we can nurture the love for arts, the passion for creative pursuits since an early age, these children can carry this good memory for many years to come. And because it is a community effort to educate and raise children, Museum Macan does not only design programs targeted at children, but we also try to engage with teachers, schools, and parents, basically the people who are directly involved with these children on a day-to-day basis. So how does that translate into programming? We have a variety of programs and projects in the Education and Public Programs Department. As you can see here in the chart, there are two streams in the department in which the education stream is more focused on school and academic partnerships. Meanwhile, the public program, as the name suggests, offers a more general approach. For the purpose of this presentation, I'm going to focus on three projects aimed at children that are undertaken by the department. The first is Children Art Space, and then we have the Museum Guide for Children, and then we have the Education Resource Kit. So as you can see in the video, the Children Art Space is a dedicated space in the museum that is specifically targeted at children. However, it also invites adults to rediscover their inner child. So it's a very family-friendly space, and it also encourages bonding between adults, in this case, parents, guardians, or teachers, and the children. And the Children Art Space is a commission project, so we work closely with an artist to produce an exhibition that has a strong curatorial presentation and conceptual or visual framework. But at the same time, the exhibited work also carries an educational purpose. So the work is usually interactive and multisensory. So the space itself is not complete until the children participates and contributes their own work to the space. Like you can see here, this is one of our projects that we did back in 2018 with Indonesian artist Gatot Indrajati, called the Tinkering Box. With this project, Gatot invites children to create something out of cardboard and timber offcuts. So the Tinkering Box encourages children to tinker or to experiment with a broken object, is mended and remodeled instead of being thrown away for something new. So you can see on the top picture, the space was still clean, and this is the artist. But a few weeks later, after the space was open, there are already drawings on the wall and already like a new creation by the children. And then this was another children's art space project with Thai artist Mit Jai In, where children were encouraged to turn a white space into a colorful cave. There were no rules, so just splash the paint whatever the children want. And the idea actually resonates with how earliest visual works in human civilization was found in a cave. So there's an educational aspect to it that goes beyond self-expression and experimenting with colors. And another past project in the children art space is Main Getah, or Rubberscape, by Malaysian artist Susi Sulaiman, in which she turned the space into a mini forest. They have rubber trees. And why rubber? Because rubber holds a significant place in the histories and economies of Indonesia, Malaysia, and a broader Southeast Asia. So in Main Getah, or Rubberscape, the children are invited to create artworks by taking the rubber trees as inspiration. And upon entering the space, the children will encounter the sights and sounds from one of the Malaysia's rubber plantation. And through art making and traditional games, they can discover how inventive actually rubber can be. So again, there's a historical and local geographical context to this exhibition. So it's not just purely self-expression, but also there's an educational aspect to it. And during the pandemic, last year, for the first time, we tried a hybrid approach to the children art space with Citra Sasmita's work titled Kisah Antah Berantah. So it is a contemporary approach to traditional fables. So in addition to the physical exhibition, there's a microsite that the children can access and they can create their own stories. So far, we have done 5 children art space, and we have a new project to be launched at the end of this year. Okay, so in addition to the children art space, which is specifically targeted at children, we also produce museum guide for children. Essentially, it's a booklet. So back then we used to print it like this, but now they're also available as PDF booklets that you can download from the website. And the content of the guide features information about the exhibition at the museum, not just the children art space. So it introduces the work and the artists with kids-friendly languages, so children can read it by themselves, and it can also help parents or teachers to explain the artwork to children. And as an additional information in the exhibition space itself, we also provide exhibition captions for children for all our exhibitions. So it's also a way to educate young audiences and help them navigate the museum more confidently and more independently. So now let me guide you through some of the contents of the museum guide. So first, when you open it, there's a house rules, which introduces the ways children can interact during their visit. And there are rules for on-site visit that includes like keeping a distance and not taking photographs with flash, for example. But now that our activities has moved towards online, we also add like online house rules. And we hope that this guide can help them to learn more about museum etiquette, but through a friendlier approach. And then we have a curatorial text, but rewritten for children, so it has like bilingual, and then we have a simpler language as well, and shorter text, and you can see like the works in the exhibition. And then because we use this guide when we do tours with children, the guide also contains activities like interactive games related to the exhibited work. So this particular picture that you see here relates to that photos of the artwork that you just saw from the previous page. And they also contain fun facts. So the aim is to keep the students entertained during their visit. And lastly, we have education resource kit. So as I mentioned earlier, that we engage adults who also directly interact with children, who can be the mediator for the children's program. So we provided an education resource kit, which is a specialized information for teachers to support positive and enriching educational experiences for students in relation to the exhibition on view. So this kit is available for download from the website. So since the pandemic, we have shifted online, and even now with the museum reopening, we are still expecting the education and public program to run online, especially the ones that involve children, at least until the first half of 2022. Because we try to be very cautious since there are more health and safety risks whenever you are involved with young children. So we try to keep things as safe as possible. And of course, that being said, there are limitations. However, by having online programs, we also have the opportunity to reach children and students beyond Jakarta and even beyond Java. So that's actually good because it means there are potential for art to be more accessible. And for the past year, we have been conducting online school tours and workshops, as well as virtual education forums. We also launched an artist home kit that you can buy, where you can buy a set of activity kit to be enjoyed with the family. So for now, our focus has shifted a bit towards supporting art education that can be done at home, beyond the physical walls of the museum. And as the situation keeps on changing, we are also continuously exploring and trying to improve our methods of engaging with children. So what I've shared so far is not set in stone as the only way of implementing children's program, but it's one approach, and we are still open for further developments. So I'd like to end my presentation by saying that ultimately, as adults, designing a children's program for a museum is about taking inspirations from children themselves. So we need to have an open mind, a curiosity to explore, and the courage to imagine big things. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Amazing presentation from Minjani with interesting title, A Little Space for Big Imagination. Okay, we all agree that Museum Macan is one of the most inspiring museum in Indonesia, that they have some projects specifically for children, such as Children's Art Space, Museum Guide for Children, and the Education Resource Kit. Thank you so much, Minjani. Okay, now we move into the next presentation, which will be Michiko Matsukata from Chihiro Art Museum, Japan. I will introduce her first. Michiko Matsukata, since 2003, her works at the Chihiro Art Museum as a curator, curated exhibitions such as Korean contemporary picture book artists, Polish picture book artist, and from Brazil, traveling artist Roger Melo. About the Chihiro Art Museum was founded in 1977 to commemorate Chihiro Iwasaki, a Japanese artist famous for her paintings and drawings of flowers and children, which appeared widely in picture books, illustrated magazine, textbook from the late 1950s. Currently, the museum's collections of picture book illustration consists of 27,400 pieces created by 211 artists from 35 countries and regions, and is considered to be one of the largest of its kind in this world. There are two museums, one in Tokyo and one in Azumino, which opened in 1997. Okay, hello Michiko. Good morning. I think you still mute yourself. Please unmute first. Okay.
Yes, good morning, Emmanuel.
Okay, how are you? You good?
Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm good. Are you in Azumino or in
Good question. I'm in Azumino, so I'll talk mostly about our museum in Azumino today.
Okay, thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, before Michiko start the presentation, we will watch a short video from Chihiro Art Museum.
Okay, so you just saw a short video about Chihiro Art Museum, Azumino, where I'm working now. And as Emmanuel introduced, we have two museums, one in Tokyo and one in Azumino. But my presentation today is based on activity and the facility in Chihiro Art Museum in Azumino. It's a very honor to be here today, and I'm very happy to be able to present a little bit about this Chihiro Art Museum, and I hope it will be an inspiration for you too. First of all, I would like to say a little bit about the museum. It's a museum specializing in picture books, and we consider picture books to be a form of art, which is for children as well as for adults. So our museum is also dedicated not only to children, but also to adults alike. So we're not a children museum, but we aspire to be a place where children and adults both can enjoy. And also our museum in Azumino, we have this concept that to be a museum where you do not have to look at pictures. It's a little bit strange for a museum, but it's a place where you can relax and maybe forget about your troubles, and we aspire to be such a place. So I will start the presentation about Chihiro Art Museum, Azumino, and our little people, about thinking about children's audience. First of all, the basics, maybe it's something, well, so I think we would like to be a place welcoming children and adults alike. And since 2006, we have free admission for high school students and under, which we consider to be children. This is because we believe that children can return if they have good experience in our museum, return as adults in the future, and we hope more children can experience art in our museum. That's why we eliminated admission fee. This is, I think, more and more museums in Japan are doing similar, but at the time it was something of an experiment or pioneering, and now it is, we see the results as well. About 10% of our visitors are children. And also small things as well. We also have rental strollers, baby carriers, and also in our bathrooms, diaper changeable restrooms. So mothers and family can feel that they are welcome and enjoy the museum without stress. And in our museum, we have a really basic playroom. You can see a family enjoying playing with toys. And also we have books, picture books for smaller children. And we often see families here who may be tired of seeing the pictures or traveling to Azumino, and they can spend their time as they wish here, relaxing. Next. And in our museum, we hang pictures on the wall lower than normally, which is 135 centimeter is the central line. And I hear normally it is 140 to 150, This is so that children also can enjoy the pictures, and not too low so that the parents also can enjoy them. And also here you see furnitures, and we have specially made chairs and tables where children can enjoy. This is our museum cafe, but these chairs are also good for adults too. Okay, so I showed a little bit about our facility and basic things which welcome children. Now a little bit about our programs. This is a program which we hold a few times per year. We called First Museum. We invite parents and babies from 0 to 2-year-old and who would like to experience our museum as their first museums. We guide mothers or fathers and babies into the museum and have a talk, play with them, and show around our exhibition rooms and welcome them to their next visits. This is also one of our regular programs. As you can see, not only for children, but also for adults and grown-ups too, because our museum is specializing in picture books. We have picture book story time. And here, maybe most museums do the similar thing, but we have worksheets which help children enjoy our museum. The ones on the left is exploration sheet, so children can find things and explore the museums and find what they saw or write about their favorite artworks. And we also create worksheets according to exhibitions as well. So the children can do them by themselves, these worksheets. Also, we hold workshops with artists according to exhibitions, especially for children, especially during the summer. On the left side, we see one of the workshops we did with the Czech artist doing collage. On the right-hand side, you see the photo. On the background is the artist, Mr. Hiroshi Abe, who creates animals using cardboard. We did this with collaboration with the village where our museum stands. And in the summertime, we have middle school summer volunteers from the local middle school working as museum workers or volunteers, and they conduct the workshops or do museum tours. And it is also an experience for them, seeing the visitors, and also the visitors learn from these young children. Also, we have reach out activities to schools. And in the last 2 years, in time of the pandemic, we have closed for several months. Now we are open, but we have considered how safely to hold events. This is one very basic thing, holding events outside, like picture book reading outside. Or we have created special home website to enjoy the museum at home, maybe not only for children, but also for adults. And also instruction video on YouTube. One of our very popular program is creating this Nijimi, one of the very technique Chihiro excelled in, and children were encouraged to do this at home and send their works at the museum, and we could display them in our gallery, as you can see in the right-hand side. And last week, we did an online tour, live tour, connecting our two museums and the visitors as well. And also teenagers participated, and we heard responses that they enjoyed it as much at home. Also, this is my last slide. We could do international collaboration with Tatsita, doing workshop with children in Indonesia, thanks to this Zoom webinar. And we hope to find such possibility also in the future and consider this hardship not as barriers, but also as possibility. Sorry for my quick and unorganized explanation, but we hope to be a museum also in the future where children and adults alike can feel peace and return whenever they would like to. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Michiko, for joining us in the sessions today. Chihiro Art Museum is one of the must-visit place in my list. Hope we all can go to Tokyo or Azumino to visit Chihiro Art Museum someday. Okay, so now we are in the last session. I would like to ask of all of our speakers today to unmute the microphone and joining me in the last session. This last session, I would like to ask the same questions to all of speakers about how do you feel about joining this talk, meet with another museum, share each other programs, and maybe you can share your hopes for museum, especially museum in Indonesia in the future. And maybe you can also state your closing statement for today's session. Maybe Ninjani can go first.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mbak Emaniar. I think for me, the past 18 months has definitely been challenging and difficult, that I won't deny. And I think it's a shared experience for us all. But also, if there's a silver lining to all this that we go through together, I think it's actually a time for us to explore and experiment and to try new ways of engagement. And so just like Ms. Michiko said, it's a time for possibilities. And so hopefully we can emerge from this pandemic stronger and more creative than ever. I personally am very happy to be here and to meet new people, because it's been very hard to meet new people during the pandemic. But yeah, thanks to technology, we can do that. So yeah, I feel positive for like the future. Hopefully we can definitely do better things.
Okay, thank you so much. Maybe we can make another collaboration, yeah, from this talk together. Okay, so I will let Buryama for the next to answer the same questions. How do you feel, Buryama, about this session together with Chihiro Art Museum and Museum Macan?
Yeah, great. We can connect and collaborate. So I saw that lately the interest of public to museums in Indonesia is increasing, since from the emergence of museums such as National Museum, Museum of Macan, and many museum revitalization. And Tachita wished to be able to enhance this experience for children, to make impressions in their lives, enriching and broadening their imagination, not just through words and books, but visual and arts. By doing this exchange of knowledge, we hope that other museums will be inspired too in adding and involving children in more of its programs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Amazing. Thank you so much, Surya Mama Sansi Hombing. And then I will let Michiko-san to say about her feeling to join us today in Zoom online. Okay,
Yeah.
Michiko.
Hello. It was really eye-opening to see the presentation of Macan and also Buriyama-san, to see different museums and challenging new things. And it also gave me inspiration. I would like to share this with my colleagues as well. And this is thanks to this event. And I hope many people can also learn a lot from this session so we can move on into the future, challenging new things, as Ninjani said, for children and for ourselves, and new possibilities. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Michiko. I totally agree with you. It is such opening discussion. It's interesting discussion. But unfortunately, now the time has come for me to end the session of Jakarta Content Week. Thank you so much, Michiko Matsukata, Ria Mama Sansi Hombing, and Ninjani for joining us today. And to the viewers, thank you for your participation. We still have plenty other interesting sessions in JAC10 2021. You can participate by logging into www.jac10.com. Follow our social media at JAC10 for the latest information about JAC10 2021. Stay healthy and see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoy the session of Sarina Jakarta Content Week 2021, sponsored by Brimo.
Saat gagasan pendirian Sarinah dicetuskan pada tahun 1962, Bung Karno ingin banyak membuat mercusuar kebangkitan bangsa Indonesia. Sarinah adalah bentuk perwujudan dari kebangkitan ekonomi kerakyatan menuju modernisasi dan internasionalisme. Dari masa ke masa, Sarinah menjadi saksi dari perkembangan Indonesia. Sarinah melihat bagaimana masyarakat bertumbuh dan beradaptasi melalui segala tantangan yang hadir. Sarinah terus menjadi sentra aktivitas bagi masyarakat untuk memasarkan inovasi dan produk dalam negeri di jantung ibu kota. Transformasi Sarinah adalah sebuah momen yang dinanti-nantikan masyarakat Indonesia. Sebuah pusat perbelanjaan yang didesain untuk memberikan ruang bagi produk dalam negeri yang telah dikurasi. Pemugaran gedungnya tetap menjaga kelestarian aspek cagar budayanya, namun interior, fasilitas, dan pengalaman berbelanja akan disesuaikan dengan perilaku konsumen masa kini dan masa depan. Sarinah diharapkan menjadi destinasi wajib kunjung bagi wisatawan dalam dan luar negeri. Ruang rumah Sarinah terbagi menjadi 8 buah segmen lantai. Masing-masing ruang tersebut kami beri nama antara lain Pasar Nusantara, Pusaka, Untayan, Kreasi, Hayat, House of Sarinah, Cakrawala, dan Tanah Nusa. Melalui konsep Community Mall, Sarinah memberikan ruang publik yang memiliki elemen historical, urban linkages, urban forest, serta urban living. Kami ingin mengajak Anda untuk menjadi bagian dari semangat baru Sarinah. Semangat yang diwariskan oleh para pendiri bangsa untuk bisa menjadikan Indonesia menjadi salah satu sentral ekonomi dunia. Bersama, mari kita tunjukkan kekayaan karya Nusantara kepada dunia. Sarinah, Panggung Karya Indonesia.
Tak pernah